Hi, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shine and sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live, where we talk radio.
You know you make me wanna shout, kick my heels up and shout, throw my hands up and shout, throw my head back and shout. Come on now, don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Say it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Say that you say you will. Say that you love me. Say that you need me. Say that you want me. You wanna please me. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. I still remember when you used to be 9 years old. Hey, I was a fool for you from the bottom of my soul. Yeah, yeah. Now that you're grown up and old enough to know. Yeah, yeah. You wanna leave me. You wanna let me go.
I want you to know.
I want you to know.
Oh, it's good.
I said I want you to know right now.
Otis, day and the nights.
You've been good to me, baby.
Oh, yeah, feeling
Better
it.
than I've been to myself. Hey, hey. And if you ever leave me, I don't want nobody else. Hey, hey.
It was in Animal House. It was filmed on the University of Oregon campus, and doggone, we're going to be there on the 12th of November to hear this song play.
Make me wanna,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
between the third and fourth quarters. Oh, yeah, we're going.
Come on now, come on now.
Oh, man.
Come on now.
Wherever you may be in this great big world, I want to welcome you to the big party here in the Shack. It's Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, and from around the world, we say away we go.
Now wait a minute.
I'm sorry, hold on. We got to wait for a second. What are we waiting for?
Feel alright.
Okay, all right.
Now that I've got my woman, I feel, hey, alright. You've been so good to me.
Yes, you have.
You've been so good to me.
You know, you just make me want to shout.
You know you make me wanna lift my head up and throw my hands back and come on now, come on now, come on now, come on now, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. A little bit
All right, guys, before we get copyright tapped, let's say away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shack in Oregon. Otis, Day and the Nights. I love that song. So good. You know, I haven't been to an Oregon Ducks football game. Oh, man, I can't remember how many years ago. It's been a long time. And anyway, they play between the third and fourth quarter, that song, because Animal House actually filmed on the campus of University of Oregon. And they play that between the third and fourth quarter, and the whole stadium goes nuts. Literally, they go crazy, like almost 60,000 people in one place. So we're going, because I haven't been a long time, and Bob hasn't been a long time. It's Karen's first time. We're going to just go over to University of Oregon and watch a football game coming up. Excited. That'll be fun. It's been a long time. Speaking of long time, if you've waited a long time to get your amateur radio license, I know that's a very poor segue.
Ah, there's good news tonight.
Right, sorry about that. We'd like to help you do so. Contact a big club like the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. That's ARRL.org. Please hit the contact us bar. Let them know where you live and you'd like to get your license. They'll send you an amateur radio club close to you that you contact then. Say, I'd like to be your friend. No, don't do that. Just contact them and say you'd like to get an amateur radio. They'll help you with the rest. www.arrl.org. And there is Bob making an appearance. Actually, I don't need this. That's okay. Thanks. Bob's going to come in with random things today, you know.
That's mighty hospitable of you.
It is. It's okay. I want to welcome you to the show. If you want to email me for some strange reason, like why does my brother come in the middle of the show into the room? Well, you can do so. You can reach me at info@hamradiolive.org. Also, today's a big day. We're on WRMI shortwave around the world. I'm grateful to Icom for the love of ham radio. Yep. It's already been to Hawaii, South Pacific, Australia, and New Zealand. That was the first time it'd been that way for a while since Hurricane Ian, but now it's back. Today at 8:15 UTC on 7780 kilohertz. Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The show is going on here in an hour, 2015 UTC on 15770 kilohertz. North America gets the show tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on 9395 kilohertz. And the Caribbean, Central, and South America get CQ calling tonight, 8:15 Eastern Time, 9955 kilohertz, which also is simulcast on the internet stream at www.wrmi.net. Oh, we got a Discord page too at ham-radio-live. Excited to have you today. We got a fun topic question. It's going to be a Tell Me Something Good Thursday. Yeah, we just need to have some fun. We do. You know, life is really hard right now, especially if you're in the States. You've had enough of the, political ads, right? Raise your hand who is not sick and tired of all the political ads, right? Oh, gosh. We get close to the elections here in the States, right? And instead of like a lot of campaigners focusing on what they do well, instead they focus on what the other person does wrong. And it's too bad, but it's interesting. We only have a few more days. Next Tuesday is the election day here in the States. And then it will all go away and we won't have any more of this terrible stuff going on commercials.
No more gentleman stuff. From now on, you fight my way.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Of course. Yeah, there you go. I guess what all the campaigners are doing right now. It's interesting to be in the States right now. It really is. It is a Tell Me Something Good Thursday. Tell me something happened good in your life. Something that's good going on radio. Maybe something good just personally in your life. And we'll make it part of the show. How's that sound? I want to start the show out by just saying something really important to people. I want to say this because it's important. I received a really neat email. It came from Europe. A guy that watches the channel. Really nice guy. And he mentioned that I had said one time on the channel, that I'd had problems with my son in the past, and things that kind of how it led up to me doing ham radio live. And I just want to make sure to get the point home. You never, ever give up on your family. You don't ever give up, especially on your kids. You don't. They can do some pretty crummy things sometimes, but you never give up. You always leave the door open and you hope that they will come back repentant, that they'll be serious about being sorry about what happened. And that you'll always keep that door open. You always keep that door open to them because, sometimes people hurt in life and they get into a bad spot. And for this person in Europe, I'm just going to say, please keep the door open a little bit. That's what I've done with my son. Let them come back and let them have a chance to get back in your life because no one deserves to be excluded from people's lives for the rest of their life. So please, I hope you understand that, my friend. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to say, please understand, just keep the door open and never give up hope. Always pray. I've done that for years for my son. So just pray a lot about it. It'll be good. You'll find things are good. We've got interesting show today. This could be so much fun. Okay, so yesterday, Larry being Larry did one thing that was just awful. I went and I forgot to do the Aurora segment yesterday. Remember that?
My name is Larry.
Yeah, so I forgot to do that part of the show, and I felt really bad. But today we're going to do Auroral Propagation, which, by the way, we'll explain we do it and all that stuff. And then we're going to do it really fun is we're going to play Gary Pierce's YouTube channel from this last Sunday, just a snippet of it so that you hear just how funny this thing was. I nearly got in an accident on the way home from California. I hope you enjoy it. A little bit of Gary Pierce and his Ham Radio Now channel is absolutely hilarious about a guy in Taiwan and his little group that's getting together to try and make calls in amateur radio, written up by the Los Angeles Times.
That's the last straw. Now I use my secret weapon.
Yep, pretty much. So I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a fun show day around the world. All right. Let's find out who's first, second, and third in this shindig, and we'll find out what we can say. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is true. This is the 15th time Avery has done it. Second only to the ape. Avery in Georgia, first in. Welcome to the show. The show. Welcome, Avery. Nice to have you. You've done it. Wow. She's only 4 behind the ape now. That's pretty good. Avery, welcome. Kilo for Victor Romeo Yankee. Good to have you today, kiddo. Thanks for coming. Rodney in Holland, Pop Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey comes in second. A big yay. Thank you. Thank you. Rodney says second again, but first in our hearts, always. Joshua Bateman, good morning to you. You are third. Let's give him a big applause. Enough. Good. Okay. Winan in Africa joins us here. Hi, Winan. Comes from the country of Namibia in Southwest Africa. Thanks for being here, Wine, and good to see you, buddy. Victor 51 Whiskey. It's nice to have you. My dear friend Tom, Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa here in the States. His Bahrain call sign, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. But when Tom comes, we just play this. Tom's a whiz kid. He makes flight simulators. Like, he creates the code that makes the thing like exactly like you're flying a jet or you're flying a helicopter. It could be military or commercial. He's brilliant. Tom, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey in Bahrain. Thank you for coming today. Good to have you, mate. It's late. That's, by the way, the fourth continent here already. This is amazing stuff. Might be a fun show. And Rodney, thank you. I'll get back to you after the show as well. Roger McKeon, my dear friend in Spokane, with Molly, and I love Molly so much. Molly's been through a lot lately, and Roger's been kind of nursing her back to health. Good on you, Roger. Kilo Juliet 7, Lima Lima X-ray, Molly makes K9. Welcome, guys. Love Molly. Roger got a hold of me yesterday, told me Molly's been kind of suffering through some stuff. Glad that you got her taken care of. That's good. That's good. Tom finished a QSO all the way from the Middle East to Norway. That's great. Well done, Roger McKeon. Otis, my man, yay! Otis Dan the Knights with Shout, starting the show off. Steve is here, 2 Echo 0, X-Ray Sierra Hotel. You know what that means. That's also part of continent number 4. Welcome, Steve. Actually, continent number 2, because Rodney came in second, so he would be now in, continent 2. William, welcome from all the way in Wisconsin, and I love this man. Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike, my best to you and your family. Thanks for being here. Glad I haven't turned you off yet. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We are. Kevin's here from Iowa. Hi, Kev. Kilo 0 Kilo Lima Bravo. Welcome to the show. Let me say, I think, and by the way, Steve, thank you for the song intro. That was a lot of fun. Otis Dan Nights is great, and it was a fun song to play. Good stuff. Chris is here, 2 Echo 0, Union Kilo Hotel, and we're going to talk about something. We're going to do his segment tomorrow, where he made a really neat reception on some VHF, okay, FM, coming from the States, skipping all the way over to Great Britain. No kidding. He said he waited 35 years for it to come again. I'm going to show you what the solar conditions were like 35 years ago and where they are now. And you'll see the tie-in and why Solar Cycle 25 is going to be so special. Really special. You might say, well, it's VHF. Oh, it's way low on VHF. And the conditions are very similar in terms of our ionosphere in the SFIs. Some good stuff that Chris picked up, and we'll show that on tomorrow's show. Excited to have you, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, it's neat. It's really neat. Think about that. All the way from the States going over to UK on FM. Amazing. Good catch, by the way. That was really good. Ron Walensky from Monroe, Washington. Hello. Ron Walensky from Monroe, Washington. I can say it now. November 8 Whiskey, Charlie Romeo. Hi, Ron. It took me a while. Sam Weaver is here from good old Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. Good to have you, Sam. Thanks for coming, man. As always, it's good. Rodney, thanks for the link to the ARRL. That's good. Everybody's saying hello to Bob, who popped in. And Chris, it's actually great to see Bob coming onto the stream. Bless your heart. It's nice. It's nice. And thank you for the Discord link too, Rodney. Thank you so much. That's really good. Goes away. That's our friend Walt. Hi, Walt. Glad I can watch the show today for a few minutes. Gotta run soon. I'll be back in Poland next week watching nightly. Thank you. Wow. That's cool, actually. That's really neat. First one in with our Tell Me Something Good Thursday. Chris in the UK, I'll tell you something good. Thursday, I've heard American police, taxi drivers, and Italian pizza delivery radio operators every day this week. Nice work, Chris. And we'll share that with you tomorrow. We will. It'll be a lot of fun. I want to show you something real quick before we get into too much of this. And Ronnie, thanks for the like button. That's nice of you to say. Steve in the UK, 2 Echoes or X-Ray Sierra Hotel, something good. During CQ Worldwide SSB, I managed to work Mongolia for the first time in the log and in the books. Nice work, Steve. I'm looking for something. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Must find it. You guys know me by now. I come with everything prepared for the most part, except for there's just a few times where I just don't. And today would be one of those times, but I'm close. I'm close. I've had kind of one of those days. Have you ever had one of those days where you're like, man, I think you're good to go. Oops, I forgot something at home. Oh, well, we'll have it in just a moment. I'll be able to do it because I don't want to keep doing the show without it. You're going to love the Gary Pierce thing today. You will love the Gary Pierce. It's so good. It was so funny. I literally, I really loved that part. And I mean, when I say I almost drove off the road laughing, I'm serious. My wife was sleeping in the car. And here's Gary doing this bit on YouTube, and I'm laughing my head off. It's absolutely hilarious. By the way, not to take away from Steve, who did something good with Mongolia. Thank you, Steve. But I got it. Ryan's raising his hands. He's sick of the doggone political ads.
Tell me something good.
There it is. Okay. Had to get that in there. Anyway, Walt says, I'll tell you something. 10 meters is awesome these days.
Tell me something good.
Yes, it is. Well done. Well done. Yep, it is. 10 is so good. It is so good right now. Man, you work some great calls. You really will. Steve said only 20 watts for the dipole on his end, and that's good. That's good. Great calls. Like was at my father-in-law's house over the weekend, right? And I'm working a dipole. It's broadside. It's north-south. And gosh, good. I did okay. I was happy with 9. I didn't have much time to work the radio, 30 minutes, if that, but still was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Whining from Africa says something good. I'm getting back my health and voice, and my fish kids is getting his big hiya.
Tell me something good.
Not sure what fish kids are, but okay. Steve in the UK, I'm not sure just how Avery is so doggone quick. Every time when Avery comes, it's usually right here. Yep. She is fast. She made it to the weather show first day too, which is hard for me to do because I can't say hi to you guys because it's just weather. Try to get it fast. You do it. It's over. That's it. Kind of fun, But anyway, that's kind of it. She came in first for that too, but I can't count that one. No, can't do it. Elmer Time. That's Jeff first from Crazy Land, Oregon. That would be Jeff Elmer Time, but we know him as Welcome, Jeff. Always good. Alpha Delta 7, Lehman, November from Portland, Oregon. Rodney, something good. Going to see my youngest daughter soon. She's coming to live here. That's a good stay, man. Seriously. That's awesome. Rodney, that's awesome. You have your kid. You know what? That's so cool. And that kind of ties in a little bit with what I said at the beginning. You love your kids, no matter what. Your kids are special. And from my heart, truly, if my son ever sees this, I'd want him to know. What happened is in the past. It hurts really bad, no question, but you can always come home. I'll always be here for you if you need me. But the ball's in your court now, and you have to be able to do what you have to do right with it to make it right for both of us. And if you ever see this, I want you to know I love you as well. Okay, that's my something good. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to say the right words that need to be said. Avery in Georgia. Yep, I am Speedy Steve. Yep, there she goes again. She's fast. She's really fast. Martin in Holland, Pop Echo 910, Goonie Golf. Good day, all something good. Thursday, new country for me in the mail.
Tell me something good.
Oh, no, Molly. Sorry, Molly. Mail, Molly. Sorry. Joshua Bateman, his call sign November 1, Juliet Bravo. Best call, Friday afternoon, 10 meters. Heard a guy with a slight accent. This could go so many ways right now. 10 meters, heard a guy with a slight accent. Just called out to say hello for a short rag chew. My British accent's bad. To my surprise, he was in Hong Kong. 5-minute rag chew before we faded out.
Tell me something good.
Awesome, man. That's great, Josh. That's so cool, man. Kill is here from Norway. Thank you for the nice comment on this shirt. Yes. We saw one of these shirts at Depot Bay, Oregon. It was a beautiful place in the Oregon coast. And it was Bob. It said, it's time to eat Bob. And then it's time to eat Bob. And anyway, the story was 2 sharks eating at a table with a guy named Bob. And then it's without the comma, it's time to eat Bob. And the sharks are there with their knives and forks, and Bob is on the plate. So it's kind of funny. And I couldn't find the same shirt, but I like this one, Kel. Thank you. He's going off on tangents again. That's not good. The show will be way too long again.
And now, hilarious moment.
All right, so I want to say hi to everybody first, and we'll get to that, Mr. Producer. Sorry, JJ from Canada is here. Welcome. It's good to have you. Tom, tell me something good. I'm in Bulgaria this week.
Tell me something good.
That's awesome, Tom. Welcome home. You've waited a long time. You've sure worked hard for it, too. Man, Anders Kyle is here. Lima Bravo 3, Bravo Juliet. Are you still in New Zealand? Are you still there? It's nice to have you. Anders, thanks for coming. Lima Bravo 3, Bravo Juliet. It's a great day to be here. Alan William, our dear friend, Alpha Delta 8 India Tango from Akron, Ohio. Hi, William. Happy Thursday, my friend. Wow, nice to see you. We got a group. Rob is here as well. Rob Sabato, Kilo 2, Whiskey Romeo Delta. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. Good to have you, buddy. All right, now we'll do it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Producer. Fire it up.
And now, Hilary Moment.
All right, so when you are driving, one of the things you don't need is distractions, right? You don't need distractions. You got to concentrate on the road. It's like, 11:30, 11, some turn, somewhere around that. I'm catching Gary Pierce's Ham Radio Now show. He's still live streaming, but I'm way back listening to the beginning of it, right? And I had the chance to listen to this, and I was laughing so hard at what he was doing that I nearly drove off the road, got in a terrible accident. I wanted to play just a snippet of what he did on Sunday night and let you hear it. And I want to invite you to please go to his channel as well. Ham Radio Now is where you'll hear the whole thing. It's the last live show that Gary did. Gary Pierce doing some sound effects on a real news story from the LA Times. Find this on the YouTube channel, by the way, of Ham Radio Now here on YouTube.
Rhythmically tapping against two small metal paddles.
I hear a Edgar Allan Poe in here. Rhythmically tapping, 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 tapping. My, whatever.
Yep.
Quoth the paddle, nevermore.
Evermore, evermore, nevermore, evermore.
They emit a sound. Carry on.
Where are we? Oh, each time his hand makes contact. From the right a dit or dot, from the left a dash or da. The building blocks of Morse code alphabet. Is anybody here? He taps, and really what he taps was CQ.
Is there anybody?
Wasn't is
out
anybody
there?
here? It was what is it? I seek you. Anyways,
It never was that. Oh, they've already corrected something, but they didn't correct the giving it the middle finger.
Yep. And when my wife sent me this article, she was like, maybe you could go find the reporter and have him on your show. And I'm like, no, what we want to do is find the guy in Taiwan and have him on the show. But
Yeah.
I don't think that would really work either.
Do they have races in Taiwan?
They'll probably have something.
Carry on.
The replies come back. It fits and starts from Japan, then Greece, then Bulgaria. Each time BX2AN, as he is known on the radio waves, jolts the series of numbers and letters. Jots the series of numbers and letters. Call signs, names, dates, and locations. Then he adjusts the black round knob on his transceiver box as its screen glows yellow in the dark.
There's a picture.
Whoa.
He's got a nice good box there.
Yeah.
So that's
an
older Icom, right?
Looks like an Icom 706.
Yeah.
Yep.
There can be no doubt that his setup, that unique call sign stamped across the front of the black radio set, scrawled in the fabled Sharpie on his travel mug and engraved in black on it.
I know it's fuzzy on your screen.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to read here this way.
Let me see if I can make it bigger.
And I don't do scripts. That's just the thing. On the edge of his notepad, he's absentmindedly doodled again, BX2AN.
Which is who he is. So that's kind of interesting.
Wait for it. It gets really funny here.
Okay, I will continue.
Yes, please.
Well, you see where in the world your wife is. In the corporeal world, he is Li Jinxing, a 71-year-old retired bakery owner. He's almost as old as me. He's a husband, father of 5, grandfather of 8, ham radio enthusiast for 30 years. Every week, he is the first to arrive at his regular meeting for Taipei's amateur radio hobbyists.
They gather on the small, grassy campground on the city's southern border, where Lee hunches over his radio from the back of his van, listening to the airways as the sun goes down. He doesn't talk much. He prefers the dits and the daws to communicate. By 8:30 p.m., he has corresponded with 6 other operators in various countries. URNAME? Lee asks a contact in Bulgaria. GEK, the operator replies, adding the location SOFIA. Okay, what is, okay, sorry, I gotta stop. What? The operator's Gek and he's in Sofia?
Yeah, it's all different countries, so.
Okay, maybe. Lee taps out
Keep going, David.
LEE
Doing good.
in his city response. As more members of the Chinese Taipei Amateur Radio League, or CTARL, that sounds like something I do on the keyboard, trickle in,
Qatar,
two other operators.
Alt-delete.
Yeah, exactly. Two other operators are setting up stations several yards away. One of them likely starts tapping. The other prefers a handheld voiced transmitter, turning into some indistinct chatter across the Taiwan Strait. In the edge of smartphones and DMs, amateur radio...
Age of smartphones.
Yeah, okay. Has become a niche hobby in Taiwan.
Is it niche or niche? I think it actually, even though it's pronounced niche.
No, I don't know.
I think.
Whatever.
I just stumbled across it.
Niche?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yep. Participants like Lee, many of whom are older than 50, tinker with electronics, exchange postcards with new contacts, and compete to see who connects with the most far-flung places.
So ham radio over there is the same as it is here.
But ham radio might turn out to be more than just a pleasant pastime. The self-governing island about 100 miles east of China is weighing wartime scenarios in the face of growing military aggressions from vastly more powerful neighbor. If cell towers are down and the internet cables have been cut, the ability for shortwave radio frequencies to transmit long-distance messages could become crucial for civilians and officials alike.
Sound effects working?
Yes, absolutely. The recreational use of wireless radios, which transmit and receive messages via electric...
The sound effects working. If you look, I've watched a lot of YouTube stuff. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And there's so much more to it. Find that on Gary's page at Ham Radio Now. It's definitely worth a good.
Tell me something good.
Good stuff, Gary. Gary and David working hard, making it work. And that was so well done. There are so many sound effects Gary does during him reading that. And it's just hilarious. Thanks to Ham Radio Now for letting us plaster that up here on our YouTube channel and try and make it work out. Bless your heart. You guys are okay after all. We love you anyway. Yeah, there you go.
By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
Yeah, that kind of works out. Ron says the shirt reminds him of the song Timothy by the Buoys. Okay, thank you for that. Enders Cow, Lima Bravo 3, Bravo Juliet. Me and Jeff / Rodney had some fun on Discord after the show. That's always good. Hey, that's why Discord's there. I want to welcome Greg in New England. Welcome to this little shindig of fun. Hiya, Greg. Oh, gosh. It is funny. It really is. It's one of those things on YouTube that you've got to hear the whole thing, because I was driving and I woke my wife up like 4 times and she's like, what are you listening to? Finally explained everything. She's like, I would really like to get some rest here.
Oh, Rocky's really mad now.
I was almost at the point where I was afraid she was going to say.
Brace yourself for immediate disintegration.
Yeah, pretty much. But that didn't happen, thankfully. Dash, welcome from Trinidad. Good to see you, buddy. Hi, Dash. And Daniel from New Hampshire is here. Hi, Daniel. Welcome. I got to give him applause, too. Yep, just a little bit. There you go. Yeah, the sound effects. That was the whole thing that made that bit hilarious. Again, find it on Ham Radio Now's YouTube channel. Let's go to the Ham Bite segment today. It's the general license, second highest license in the States. It's the mid-level license, but it gives you 97% of the frequencies here in America. It's good stuff. You'll find this at Ham Test Online, but it's all one word. Just www.hamtestonline.com. And they're really good people. 100% money back guarantee. If you fail the test, it means you get money back. So find them at www.hamtestonline.com. hamtestonline.com, and we'll do it all in a second. Again, this is the general license, okay? What happens as the noise reduction control level in a receiver is increased? Okay, and we'll show a practical example of this. And by the way, Rodney, thank you so much for the link. That's very nice of you. Right on top of things. Rodney's like, he's here, man. He's just right here to start. Okay, go back to it. Thank you. So what happens as the noise reduction control level in a receiver is increased of these four? All right. Number one, receive frequency may shift several kilohertz. That does not happen. B, receive signals may become distorted. Yes, that's the answer. C, CW signals, which Morse code, may be severely attenuated. Kind of, I guess it would be, but they're not really attenuated. You just won't hear them very well. Or D, received frequency may become unstable. Has nothing to do with that. It's actually B, received signals may become distorted. Let me just check something real quick. We'll go on to 20 and see if I can get a signal real quick on somebody. Not sure if I will. Hang on. Right now, it's pretty quiet. At least it's pretty quiet on this radio right now, which is too bad. I don't know why it'd be quiet. It should be fine, but it's not. Anyway, if you go too much in your noise reduction, the problem is you start to get the signal faded out. Just you lose it. So that's why you don't want to override your digital noise reduction. Just use it at a point where you can hear things, but don't expect it to knock out all of the noise. It never does that. Not at all. Next question. What signal source is connected to the vertical input of an oscilloscope when checking the RF envelope pattern of a transmitted signal? All right. All you're doing here is the attenuated RF output of the transmitter. If you remember the word attenuated with this question, you'll have it. It's the only one that says attenuated. Take a look at all four. The attenuated RF output of the transmitter. That signal source is what's connected to the vertical input of an oscilloscope. Okay. Next sentence talks about oscilloscopes and what they do. You can measure peak-to-peak voltage of an oscillating signal. You can determine the frequency of an oscillating signal. You can see signal distortion of a malfunctioning component. You can find out what percentage of the signal is either direct current or alternating current. You can view the shape of a complex waveform. That's what oscilloscopes are so versatile. And they're really good. They're needed in ham shacks. Absolutely. Next question. What is a reason why many amateurs keep a station log? The answers. A, the ITU requires a log of all international contacts. That is absolutely not true. B, the ITU requires a log of all international third-party traffic. That again is not true. C, the log provides evidence of operation needed to renew a license without retest.
I'm a unitard!
Not it. Now we're D, to help with reply if the FCC requests information, and that is the correct answer. Yes. You don't have to log. It's not like against the law if you don't log your contacts. It's nothing. You don't have to worry about getting booted out of amateur radio. But it is there to help you if you have a request from the FCC, say we have some, notice of disturbance, and we think it might be coming from your ham shack. That's a good way you can prove, no, I wasn't even on the air then. That's it. Okay. All right. Next question. Which of the following components are used in a power supply filter network? Okay. Many switching power supplies had RF issues because they would create some noise. That's what they do. Now, in this case, just remember capacitors and inductors. Okay. Those components are used in a power supply filter network so that your radio is not picking up the RF noise from the switching power supply. That's how it works. Okay. Next, what kind of device is an integrated circuit operational amplifier? We'll make it an all in today. All right. So everybody plays along. So what kind of device, it's not that hard to say, is an integrated circuit operational amplifier? Is it A, analog? Is it B, programmable logic? Is it C, MMIC? Or is it D, digital? Again, what kind of device is an integrated circuit operational amplifier? A is analog, B is programmable logic, C is MMIC, and D is digital. Good luck. Good luck. Feel like I'm on Family Feud? Not really. Anyway. Hey, by the way, Siobhan's here. Hi, Siobhan. Welcome back. It's great to have you. Love Siobhan. She's such a darn good friend. I love her to pieces. Talented, brilliant. She's got the whole world ahead of her. Really does. Yeah. And she said, tell me something good Thursday. I survived another work week.
Tell me something good.
There you go. Nice job. Nice job. All right. All right. And Siobhan, first one. She says the answer is digital. And that's not it. Nope, D is not the answer on that one. Greg in New England, WECB 640, answers A, analog, and that would be 2 cents. And a high five, he's correct. Yep, it is analog. Correct. Well done, Greg. Yep. And people answer that. Steve had A. Wine had AC. That's okay. Acid Drop then had A. Well done, Siobhan. Wine then went to A. And Jeff, Mayday, what the heck is that? He's just wanting so bad to get some airplane material put up here. If you read this, it is again from the movie Airplane.
The red zone is for immediate loading and unloading of passengers only. There's no stopping in the white zone.
There you go, Jeff. You got a little bit there. Next question. Okay, when is an amateur station allowed to use any means at its disposal to assist another station in distress? The answer is C, at any time during an actual emergency. So if you're not an amateur extra, but you hear a signal where someone's pleading for help, there's an emergency going on, you then can go on that frequency and assist them. That's totally legal. You could do that here in the States. Okay? It may not be the same for other countries, but here in the U.S., you can do that by any means possible to assist a station in distress, right? And this talks about two groups, I should say, that are both MCOM groups. The RACES group, Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service, which is called RACES, consists of organizations administered by the state or local governments, which use amateur radio operators, stations, and frequencies for emergency management or civil defense communications. Amateur Radio Emergency Service, which is ARES, is an organization administered by the American Radio Relay League. That's how you can keep them apart, by the way. Remember, ARES and ARRL are together. Simple way to remember it. In the U.S. and Radio Amateurs of Canada, that uses licensed amateur radio operators who volunteer their time and equipment to provide public service and emergency communications, right? That's what those are about. And if you're new ham, good to join one of those because you can help out in times of emergency, all right? Next question, we're almost done. What could become a symptom of a ground loop somewhere in your station? The answer here is hum. Hum, that's it, really, hum. Look at number 2. You received reports of hum on your station's transmitted signal. That's the correct answer. That tells you if you maybe have a ground loop, right? What is the primary purpose of a screen grid in a vacuum tube? Now, if you're new to amateur radio, you may wonder, why are we talking about vacuum tubes? And why does it matter? Because our amplifiers and older transmitters use vacuum tubes. Older receivers do as well. So it's important to know how they work. So the primary purpose of a screen grid in a vacuum tube is to reduce grid-to-plate capacitance. That's why it's there. This talks a little bit about it, okay? Most tubes have a heater to warm the cathode. This gives the tube an eerie orange glow. I always thought it was peaceful. I loved that orange glow. Because of its high temperature, the cathode emits electrons into the vacuum through thermionic emissions, because of its if you apply a negative voltage to the cathode and a positive voltage to the anode or plate at the other end of the tube, electrons are attracted across the gap. At the other end of the tube, electrons are attracted across the gap and a current flows from the bottom to the top, basically. Next, if you reverse the polarity, applying positive to the cathode and negative to the anode, no current will flow because the plate is not heated. You therefore have what's called a diode. And it says most tubes have at least one control grid between the cathode and plate. Applying a negative voltage to a control grid repels the electrons and shuts off the flow to the plate. This gives you something similar to a field effect transistor, since a voltage applied to one set of the terminals controls current through another pair of terminals. Tubes are great to learn about, and the more you learn about them, the more you'll understand how they work. It's simply the flow of electrons from the bottom to the top and how well you control them. Screen grids help to do that, right? Next question. What must you do If an evaluation on your station shows RF, which means radio frequency energy, radiated from your station exceeds permissible limits. A, take action to prevent human exposure to the excessive RF fields is the right answer. B, file an environmental impact statement with the FCC. Don't do that. C, secure written permission from your neighbors to operate above the controlled MPE limits. Don't do that. And certainly that makes all the choices not correct. All right. Next question, the last one. Which of the following is a way to establish contact with thank you, with a digital messaging system gateway station? I really need a drink of water. Hang on. All you do with this, if you're trying to establish contact with a digital messaging system gateway station, is transmit a connect message on the station's public frequency. That's all you got to do. And then you will have connection made. You'll be good to go. Ham Bites today, powered by Ham Test Online. It's a software that knows you can study for all your ham radio license exams from the technician license all the way up to amateur extra. 100% money back guarantee. If you fail that test, find them at www.hamtestonline.com. Yeah. There you go. A little bit of stuff from there. That's good. We love to have a lot of fun. Chris, Golf 7 Victor Echo Oscar. Oh no. He was having a Larry moment on this question.
And now, a Larry moment.
Don't have too many of those. Don't do that. And Siobhan, it's so good to see you too. I'm so excited for your trip coming up to Antarctica. You got a really special trip of a lifetime coming, girl. You do. Have fun. Make memories. That'll be fun. It really will be. Let me see. I think, and Ron, about the ground loops, it's only humming because it doesn't know the words. Ron, no. Don't do it. Chris says, I had a humdinger microphone, must have a ground loop inside it. The show is now falling apart. Don't do this. Don't. All right. I want to get in a segment. I think you'll like this. I hope you do. Today and yesterday, we've had some high noise floors, right? The KP index up to KP4 and 5. What happens when that happens? We see right here K5, which happened today, right? Happened twice, actually. Look up top right. Mid-latitude aurora. Now, what that means is people in the northern countries of the world can see the northern lights, okay? And there's a part that you can actually go and find this. It'll be on solarham.net. And you can see exactly where the northern lights are, or the Australia lights, anytime, and where they're at. The brighter the color, meaning the more orange it is, the more it's prevalent in that area. So right now, northern Norway and Sweden and Russia, and soon, Alaska and Canada will have the northern lights. Down Australia, yeah, it's kind of away from, most of the continents of the world, but it's there. But the important part is how it works. Our ionosphere is separated into D, E, and F regions, right? Okay, so when we talked about the northern lights and why they are important and why radio works with them, if we take a look at the E layer, the northern lights go all the way down into the E layer of the ionosphere. That's what happens. Charged particles from the sun hit that area and they charge up with an eerie green glow. That's there in the E layer. That's how far down they go. It allows us the opportunity to make some great calls, but they sound really different than anything you've ever heard before. Here's a great video of a guy who's extremely talented. He's got a great ear for call signs. He also uses grid squares. Now, if you don't know for sure what your Maidenhead grid square is, look it up. There's a great website that'll help you find out what your grid square is, because that's how you work the aurora. Let's take a quick look at this. Great YouTube channel. I'll have a link to his channel, by the way, in the description section of the video.
Aurora, Fox, Norway, 2-5, over.
QSL, Chapman, you're also 5973, thank you.
73 and good luck. Victor Echo 3 Echo November. I'm going to QSY up 5. 3 Echo November. Victor Echo 3 Echo November. QRZ.
Alpha Alpha 1 Tango Tango.
Alpha Alpha 1 Tango Tango. Nice to see you. Nice signal. 5 and 7 57 Aurora. Fox Norway 25. Fox November 25. Over.
Yeah, just Alpha. Copy 5-8 Aurora. And 2 Foxtrot November 33 FN 33 over.
QSL, thanks for Fox November 33 and enjoy the opening. We're a lot of strong signals out there. Alpha Alpha 1 Tango Tango, Victor Echo 3, Echo November 73.
73, enjoy the 1
Ending in hotel.
That's how it sounds. It sounds very echoey, like really hushed and whispered, right? That's auroral propagation. What you need to know if you want to work Aurora, let me get you a little blank screen here. So I'm going to move over here. We're going to change it. There we go. All right. So what you need to be able to do this is you need to know where your grid square is. And this is just a states one, all right? This gives us an idea of the different grid squares around the United States and even into Canada. So there you go. That's a grid square map. And if you know where your Maidenhead grid square is and you know the number and you know the letters, you'll be great. You can work the Aurora. It's simple to be able to do once you have it down. The world is something totally different. This here just gives basically what I would call the prefix of the grid squares around the world. This is it right here. I'm in CN 45 right there on the northwest coast of the United States. You'll add a letter, the 2 letters, then the numbers, and then you usually follow up with 2 letters. Let me show you how this works. There's a great website, and if you go to it, you can go to amateur radio, ham radio. Why they've got both, I don't know. But anyway, Maidenhead Grid Square Locator Map. And I'll have a link to this in the description section so you can go and find it, okay? So you just enter any address, city, state, or zip, or enter any call sign. Pretty cool, right? And that gives you an idea of where the world is, okay? So after you do that, you enter it in, right? And then this pops up. It'll give you a grid square. Mine is CN84JU. Okay, that's where I'm located. And below it'll have a little darkened square of the area that I live under. And I'll have the link to this, by the way, so you can find it and find your local grid square and know where you're at. This is where I'm at here in the United States, grid CN84JU. It's important to know your Maidenhead grid square because you're going to use it not only for Aurora, but also if you're going to do any kind of satellite comms. Very important to know where that is, and some contests require that too. So make sure you know where your grid square is. And if you don't know, there'll be a little calculator down there in that description center to help you. Yep. Oh, my goodness gracious. Why don't we have a little bit of fun and celebrate someone who watches the channel? I'd like to thank Guy Lee. Guy Lee. This man's so cool. Look at that call sign. One of the coolest call signs in the history of ever. Kilo November 6, wet. Oh, man. Guy lives in Sanger, California. He watches Ham Radio Live. Doggone it. I'm happy about that guy. Let's take a look at Sanger.
Make a one man weep, make another man sing. Change your heart to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love.
You know I'm playing this, right? Because in Back to the Future, remember it was Hill Valley, California? This is essentially like the same area they tried to portray in the Back to the Future movies. Very close to it. We'll show you in a second. This beautiful Sanger, California, just outside of Fresno. What a great place you live, Guy. Well done.
Don't need money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card ride.
There's Sanger, California from the sky. There's its metro area, kind of a little bit to the east of Fresno. Zooming out a little bit, that's where he's at in the state of California. On the West Coast, that's where Guy is at. And in North America, that is where our dear friend Guy is at. Kilo November 6, WET is so freaking awesome. I love that call sign. Kilo November 6, Whiskey Echo Tango. Kilo November 6, wet. That's pretty cool. Love that call sign. That'd be cool to have, right? I love that. Jeff says, Auroral propagation audio sounds like something from a sci-fi horror movie. Yeah, it does. Because you're using the sun's radiation in the E layer and you're refracting signals off that instead of off of the ionosphere. And it just, oh man, it is very eerie. And it's very, you have to have a great ear If you watch the video that I put down below where you found that, where you can actually hear the whole thing, I'm amazed at that Canadian ham's ears. I couldn't hear part of those call signs at all, and he picked them out. Amazing. You need good hearing for that, for sure. Siobhan says, I couldn't, with everyone sounding like an evil sci-fi robot. It's true. Yeah, it's true. That is just a little bit of work there and on the Aurora, for sure. Cranky 65 first-timer, welcome. Nice to meet you. I'm Larry. It's a pleasure. He says, a few weeks ago, I asked about a first radio for someone who was condo bound. I got an IC 7300, and just the other night, I got an FT8 QSO from Florida all the way to Australia.
Tell me something good.
Wow, that's amazing. On 20 meters using just a ham stick indoors on 20 watts. There you go. You see, it can be done. It can be. Cranky 65, thank you. What a nice, that's great. Florida, all the way, that's almost the direct other side of the world. Australia from Florida. That's amazing. FT8 QSO on 20 watts all the way to Canada. All the way to Australia. That's fantastic. It really is. I think we're good. I think, hold on a second. I missed one thing on 80 meters I want to get real quick that Aaron's studying for his advanced license there in Canada, which we're grateful for. You could do well. Aaron says 80 meters was a mess last night. It's always a mess. Just depends on what hour you're there. All right, let's take a look at speaking of mess. Oh, by the way, I have such a cool thing. Yesterday, by the way, I'm sorry about the thing we played at the end that was Radio Berlin International. It was not very good. I'm sorry. But I have a real good one for you today. If you're a shortwave person, or you remember shortwave back in the day, you'll remember Radio Moscow, right? Radio Moscow used to do a thing called Moscow Mailbag. I have an old version of Moscow Mailbag from August of 2079. Sorry, of August of 1979. Moscow Mailbag from Shortwave. You'll love it. Plus, after that, we're going to have Chickenman 12, okay? Stick around for the fun. Let's take a look up at the Angry Hams. We'll find out what they think of today's show, and maybe we'll play a song or two. I don't know.
Well, to me, there's nothing funny about chickens.
Should never mention Chickenman to them. Ever say it. All right. First question. This is a gimme. You got this right off the top of your heads, guys. What is a Yagi? What is a Yagi? Is it A, a brand of radio, B, a type of antenna, C, a type of coax, or D, nothing in amateur radio?
That's all, folks.
A, B, C, or D. First one gets 5 points. Good luck. A Yagi, not a yogi. Do not confuse the two. Not good. By the way, welcome Ron. Hi, Ron. Victor Alpha 3 Foxtrot Union Charlie from Canada. Hi, buddy. Nice YouTube channel there, too. And check this out. It's really cool. Charlie is here. He, bless his heart. November Juliet 7 Victor will be on a summit this weekend. Go, Charlie, go. Charlie's such a dear friend in Arizona. Thank you, Charlie. It's good to see you guys. Really mean that. Thank you, guys, very much. First one up. Yep, and Jeff, some Moscow Mailbag. It's fun. You'll love the 4 questions. And how they're always from America. It's kind of weird, but that's the way it used to be. Well, anyway, Steve, first one in with B. A Yagi is a type of an antenna. 100% correct. Well done. Okay. Yep. All right. So now it's a tie score 10-10. A Yagi is a type antenna. Aaron also got that right. Dwight says, I remember go to the movie theater to see that movie. Man, I'm old. No, that's why I played Power of Love, because it's kind of by where Hill Valley would have been, fictionally for that movie. Winan also got right with B. Acid Drop had B. Ron got B. 45 unit Moscow Mailbag. Yes, sir. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to go back in the old days. Yeah. Chris is just jacked about this working. I mean, he's so excited about this. This is interesting. Today after working HF, 29 to 32 megahertz. Well, you're in the low part of VHF. Very low or very high part, technically, of HF in that comment. 29 to 32. Some ham, some receive. I decided to drive home and using my Icom 705. I spoke to someone for 20 minutes on my drive home, only 10 watts. Nice work, Chris. 2 Echo 0 Union Kilo Hotel. He's a dear friend in UK. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming, by the way. And by the way, Rodney says, B and the sensei of Danielson. Yeah. It's really Yagi. Terrible. Funny though. Yeah, Cranky also with B. Thanks for getting that. You well done. Next up on your questions, here's your second one of two. What is a Q signal for who is calling me? Is it AQSX? Is it BQRT? Is it CQRZ? Or is it DQST? Give me the right Q for me. 5 points to the winner. Good luck, everybody. There you go. Who's calling me? And make him stop. Ron says, hey, maybe a new ham soon. Couple worker will be writing soon. That's pretty cool, I think. Hey, thanks, Ron. That's nice. Okay, so Q signal for who's calling me. First up, Steve from the UK, 2 Echoes or X-Ray Sierra Hotel, C, QRZ. 2 for 2, he did it. Well done, man. Yep, it is. It is QRZ. So if you ever wonder why QRZ is called QRZ on the internet, it's because who is calling me? It's a directory of amateur radio call signs. That's what it's for. Who is calling me? It's the way we check to find out who they are. Well done on this, Steve. And Steve did really good. He really did, considering that, look at this. That's kind of weird because it was the first time, the first question. He also got the first question right too, which was B. So Steve, 2 for 2 today. Get a lottery ticket. Well done, sir. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It is QRZ. And that's really, it's who is calling me, QRZ. And that's why after pileups, people will give their call sign and they'll say QRZ. It's because they want to know who's calling them next. The whole doggone world got that right. Well done, and thank you for playing the home game. I don't know if there's like another game. Who knows? Anyway, we've talked about Aurora today. We also had a great bit. Coming home from California, hearing Gary Pierce doing that bit. And by the way, listen to the rest of it. I have Gary's link to that exact show in the description section. Watch it. Oh, you'll laugh your head off. It's like about 10 or 15 minutes into the show, and it goes on for like about 20 minutes. It's so well done. Gary Pierce at Ham Radio Now. Cannot recommend that bit enough. Seriously, it's well done. It's well done. All right, we're going to go, and what I want to do, this is fun. I've got a really cool thing that's coming right before we play Chickenman. This was from Moscow Mailbag back in the 70s. Now think about it. Jimmy Carter was president. Inflation was out of control. We had hostages in Iraq, right? Iran hostages situation. It's terrible. A terrible situation. But, things were tough. And this guy, supposedly, every one of these letters comes from the States. Of course they did. Sure they did. Anyway, they got through to Moscow, and then they play them on their shortwave powerhouse. That went all over the world. Think of Radio China International today. That was Radio Moscow. Same thing in the 70s. It was a golden age of shortwave. I really hope you enjoyed that. Today's topic question was Tell Me Something Good Thursday. We had a whole bunch of Tell Me Something Good. Tell me something good. I appreciate all of that you guys sent in. Hey, if you'd like to get your amateur radio license, say you're somebody who'd like to, either work VHF, UHF, be able to hear some signals from far away and work them. Maybe HF might be for you too. Man, there's a great group in the UK that can help you find a local to you amateur radio club. They're awesome. They're really good. They're called the Radio Society of Great Britain. If you get a hold of them and then tell them you'd like to get your ham radio license, they'll send you an email back that'll have a local to you amateur radio license. It's true. They really will. And what the cool part is that these guys are really sharp at getting a hold of people right away. Find them online, www.rsgb.org.uk, and they'll help you out. Seriously, the next 4.5 minutes you're going to love. If you're a shortwave historian or DXer, it's a treat to hear this. This was back in the Cold War, during the end of almost last 10 years of the Cold War, of Radio Moscow with their famous Moscow Mailbag segment. Well worth it. My name's Larry. My call sign in amateur radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. May the good Lord bless you this day and let you sleep through a good night. Tomorrow wake up grateful for a brand new day. Goodbye, everybody.
This is your program, Moscow Mailbag. And here is Joe Adamoff to answer your questions. Dan Gendron of West Warwick, Rhode Island. Now that there is so much bad-mouthing about the combat troops in Cuba, and some people on Capitol Hill are saying they will withhold their ratification of SALT II, what will the leaders of the USSR do if these threats are carried out?
Well, first of all, one might think that the United States does not need peace, or that the Soviet Union needs peace much more than the United States does. You see, I'm saying this because we constantly hear that the Senate might not ratify SALT II, first for one reason, then for another reason, then for a third reason. You get the impression that somebody thinks they're doing us a favor by ratifying SALT II. One prominent American politician told me, "You have to understand this," he said. "This is part of our electioneering." Well, I want to ask, does electioneering come before the destiny of peace? What is more important, electioneering or peace, may I ask? Now you ask, what will our leaders do if it's not ratified? Well, first of all, I cannot imagine it not being ratified. I believe in the sanity of your great nation. If it is not ratified, why, there'll be a new spiral to the arms race. The danger of a world holocaust breaking out will be greater. We might slip back to the period of the Cold War. Don't forget, this agreement, the SALT II, took 7 years to work out in greatest detail. It takes a lot of time to start working on another or a new treaty. We can't spare all those years all over again, you know. What will happen? Our leaders will naturally see to it that the balance of forces which exists today, the parity of forces, is not upset in favor of the United States or NATO. That's what they'll have to do if it is not signed.
Bill Behe of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Why is most of Russia a God-hating country?
We're not a God-hating country. We are atheists, yes, because our philosophy of dialectical materialism is an atheistic philosophy. We respect the beliefs of believers, whatever their faith. Just like I think believers should respect the beliefs, the philosophy of atheists. If we are atheists, it does not mean that we're some sort of monsters, you know. After all, I personally believe that the ethical and moral values of atheists sometimes, in many cases, are very much higher than the moral and ethical values of some believers. Don't forget, take the question of war. Practically all wars in human history were fought between whom? Between believers. Take the First World War. The Germans were Lutherans and Catholics, and they fought the believers of France, of England, of the United States, of Holy Russia, don't you know? Or the Second World War. It's the same thing. You get believers fighting believers. So you see, being a believer does not necessarily make a person an angel. That's what I'm trying to drive at.
If I lived in Russia and a member of the Communist Party told me to do something and I refused, what would happen?
That's a rather naive question, the way you put it. What do you think, members of the Communist Party are some sort of slave drivers ordering everybody around, telling him what to do and what not to do? Well, take my editor-in-chief. He's a member of the Communist Party. If he tells me to do something, well, I will argue it out with him. He may get the upper hand, or he may think he gets the upper hand, but that is not always so. Well, he has practically the same powers as the head or editor of any newspaper, radio, or television station in the West, too. If just somebody else tells me what to do and he's just simply a member of the Communist Party and I don't agree with him, I'll just tell him where to get off. You see, the Communist Party in our country, yes, it does set the guidelines of our economy, of our development, of our foreign policy of peaceful coexistence. That, yes. But it doesn't order anybody around. Its policies are based on the interests of the desires of the absolute majority of the people, and in that lies its strength.
Robert Carberry of San Anselmo, California. What is the average temperature in January in Moscow in degrees Fahrenheit? Do you know the lowest temperature recorded in Moscow?
The average January temperature here is 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Strange as it may seem, the lowest recorded temperature in the environs of Moscow, that includes the city too, was last winter. It was minus 44 degrees Fahrenheit, would you believe it?
A monstrous and vicious strangler stalks Midland City, and the white-winged weekend warrior, Midland City's crushing answer to lawlessness and or evil, is prepared to strike terror into the criminal's cowardly heart as soon as he finds it.
This is the Commissioner, Miss Helfinger. Have we a report on the feathered fighter's encounter with the strangler?
No, sir. The winged warrior hasn't checked in yet.
This is the winged warrior checking in.
Oh, hello, winged warrior. What was all that about?
Miss Helfinger, have you forgotten the telephone security check?
What?
To establish that I'm not an imposter?
Must we go through with that?
Miss Helfinger, if we ignore the established procedures that we have set up, we are flying in the face of the best law enforcement methods.
All right.
Go ahead.
Why did the chicken cross the street?
To get to the other side.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Hello?
Is that one of the questions?
Yes, your answer, please.
The egg.
Wrong.
The chicken.
Wrong.
We'll go on to the next question.
Listen, this was your idea.
I don't remember a question like that.
It's your security list. You wrote it.
Well, that's a stupid question. I'm changing it now.
To what?
To what is 244 divided by 12?
All right, what's 244 divided by 12?
We'll make it a question like that, for example. Well, I've got work to do.
What about the strangler?
Oh, yes. How are we spelling that again, Miss Helfinger?
Strangler, strangler.
Now, are you saying strangler or strangler?
Strangler.
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 Strangler?
Strangler.
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 Well, can the weekend warrior get this mess strangler settled?
That's all, folks.